It is my pleasure now to be joined by another Senior Bowl bound athlete, Robert Rochell, aka Scoota. How's it going today, man?
Going great, man. Thanks for having me.
Now, it was awkward for me to even say that nickname, so you got to tell me what's the story behind the nickname, man? Because when I'm looking at you on social media, it's your handle everywhere.
Yeah, I had originally got it from my father. My father grew up with the name first, and then I was born Nick, so they just passed the name to me, and then the name stuck to me. So everybody started calling me Scooter, Scoot,
I
because
love
I
it.
was fast. So it just stuck. It just went perfect with everything.
Now, when we're talking fast, right? I think a lot of people are going to know your name really soon because I think it's pretty fast from the stuff I've read. I mean, does anyone have an idea for what you're about to unleash on them?
No, they don't know. They really don't know yet. But I honestly, I'm trying. I'm eager to see too, because I'm in the process of training right now. Now you're training properly. You get new levels. So I'm eager to see as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, I'd love to just jump into that. So right now, right, it's the middle of January. Your
Mm.
college career is officially over, as crazy as that might sound, but you are now, I'm
Right.
sure, just full focus on getting ready for the Senior Bowl, getting ready for the NFL Combine. If fingers crossed, one happens. But what are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis right now to get ready for the next step?
Right now, we going there 3 times a day. Speed work in the morning. Then I have position work right at noon. Then I have weights in the afternoon. Then I have like physical therapy or massages. So this like every day, just constant grind.
So when do you really jump into like the positional stuff? Because I know that Senior Bowl, everyone loves the one-on-one matchups. That's what all the scouts and everyone wants to see. So when do you start to really, just sharpen up on your technique?
We do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at like 12 o'clock. Get in there, get a little focus, work on some footwork, technical things that are going to help you in every aspect. So we definitely be locked in, keying in on it.
Now, last year I had the chance to talk to Kyle Duggar, and it's not fair to compare Kyle to you. He's a safety. He kind of changed positions over his college career, whereas, you're definitely the lockdown corner type. But I'm sure you hear Jeremy Chin, Kyle Duggar, names brought up all the time because they were FCS or D2 kids that, had the spotlight put on them heading into the Senior Bowl. So, do you feel that you're getting those comps? I mean, have you started to actually feel the attention sort of get ramped up a little bit in the last few weeks?
Uh, Kind of, sort of, but not really. But it's kind of there. I know a lot of people eager to see what I am and what I'm gonna do because the level that I am coming from. So I know that it's definitely some attention and some people ready to watch me perform. So it's definitely there.
Yes, it's not fair to say that you're going to put UCA on the map because like guys have come from Central Arkansas before, but like you're the guy now that can kind of get Central Arkansas back on the map and get people talking about them again. So does pressure go through your mind at all, knowing now that you don't just have to represent you, now you're representing your school and all the other smaller school prospects out there?
I would rather be nobody else but me. I like pressure. I like that type of pressure on my shoulder because if either you gonna come step up to the challenge or you gonna bow down to it. So definitely bring a lot of character out of you. And being a person that just reacts off of what's going on in the moment is definitely a person that I like to have pressure.
For sure. Now, just speaking about things going through your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
The gift of social media. Just in the last month on Twitter, you put out stuff like "keep a leveled head" and "the challenges I faced made me a man." So, just tell me, man, as you're trying to just get that laser focused vision on what's ahead, what are some of the things that are going through your mind about how you need to just structure your life, your focus, your process to get you to where you want to go?
And one thing my mom always told me: new levels, new devils. So like as you trying so hard to stay focused and locked in on what's at hand, it's so hard because everything's gonna happen. Stuff where you got money problems, you're gonna have to have family problems, then you have friend problems, relationship problems. All those things just constantly happen, and it's a part of life. So with that being said, you gotta keep a level here. You gotta know what you're here to do, and right now at the time that only got one shot at this type of situation. So everything else I really could just wait and focus on. But right now I got to focus on the key right now.
Yeah, it's just so crazy because, you can look at you're going from junior year to senior year, just those levels in college of trying to up your game. And then this is just a whole different type of world when there's so many different new moving parts and, who knows what it's going to feel like this time next year, right? Because that's going to be just an entirely different roller coaster. Have you leaned on, reached out to anyone in particular to kind of get some guidance on how they sort of work through this process or what they would suggest that you might do?
Yeah, I have a couple previous UCA players that I keep in contact with that have went to the Senior Bowl and that have made to the NFL. They keep me kind of grounded. They let me know what's going on, what to look for, what not to do. So it's good having guys like that in my circle around me. Definitely.
Got it. Now, one thing that you just wrapped up was the NFLPA U Bowl, which was something that, quite frankly, I didn't know much about. And from what I gathered, this was more of a virtual thing than something that's done physically. And I'm sure it would have been physical if it wasn't for COVID. But what was that like for you? Are you getting a chance now to kind of connect with some of the other guys going through this process?
It was great. It had some NFL players on there, some people that's won championships, some greats in football came in there talking about giving advice on what to expect this up and coming being a rookie class, giving on how to enter the league, how to stay grounded, how to spend your money, stuff like that. Stuff that you need to hear because when you're young and coming into a different aspect in your life where you got a lot of money, you got people trying to come to you and be around you. So it definitely was needed. I definitely saw a lot of people talk as well. So it was definitely good.
All right. Now I need to hit the rewind button a little bit because I want to get into story time because even though it's so great that you're on this stage right now and you're about to do all these things and great things are coming, but look, can we go back to like 4 years, man?
Yeah.
Because as Coach Brown put it, because I read an article, as you are getting, as he's telling you that you're making it to the Senior Bowl in front of your teammates and everything, it's just a culmination of all your hard work. But he references in this piece that, we had this athlete wide receiver that's, what do you say, like a 160 pounds? I can't remember, but obviously a lot changed. So can you
Yeah.
just talk about your mindset as a freshman where I'm sure you weren't really sure on what position you'd be playing to how just things changed over these last few years?
So leaving high school, I was a track guy. So I loved to run track. And I was playing football as well. I had got hurt playing basketball my senior year. So like all the schools that were showing interest and wanting to recruit me, they kind of like bagged off. So at this point, I was going to end up going JUCO, and uh, I was a wide receiver. I played slot receiver. I was kind of like a speed back. I played running back, jet sweep type of guy. Really never played defense. I just played defense when it was time to hold another good player because he run fast or something like that. But never was like technical on it. So UCA offered me right before signing day, my senior year, 2016. Uh, I signed with them, and when I got there, Coach Steve Campbell was the head coach then, and I went up there for my visit, and he had me and my mother in the room. He met with us, and he was like, "Do you want to make money playing this sport?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, if you want to make money, I feel like you should change the DB." And I looked at my mom and I said, "Okay." And that was the day that I went from wide receiver to DB, and it probably was the best decision I've made. And yeah, I did come in at 160. I was kind of small. I was like 5'10", 160, probably not even 160. But I was coming off an injury as well, so same time it was like a different kind of grind mentally because I was going to a new spot on the field and I was learning new movements, new coaches, new everything, new schemes, all type of stuff. So just coming in, it was a tough battle. It was, but I had a great coach at the time who coached me up well and took me through it and taught me a lot of stuff that I still use to this day.
One thing that seems like a consistent theme amongst guys in your shoes that came from smaller schools and now everyone's like, oh, who's this guy? Is that you guys kind of got to school smaller, but you really developed physically while you were there. I mean, that's a lot of small school guys. So how did you, because you're what, like 6'2", like around 200 now?
Yeah, yes, sir.
A little bit bigger than 5'10", 160. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you keep your speed, and maybe you're even faster now than you were when you were 60 pounds and 4 inches smaller. So
Right.
how did you work to just athletically? I mean, you really just blossom while you're there. So how do you learn a new position while you're basically still growing? And just like particularly sophomore year going into junior year, that's when you make a real big jump. And then all of a sudden you're kind of on everyone's radar. I mean, do you recall anything you were doing then to really get yourself ready?
Yeah, the pedestal was kind of changing. Players was leaving, like the players that was in front of me playing before me. So it was kind of my time. So I had to like kind of buckle down and take the weight room a little bit seriously and um, listen to my coach more because I had to really be coachable at that time because it was new. So I had to be able to accept whatever he was telling me. UCA has a great coach, strength and conditioning staff over there. So they got me where I am today. They really are focused on everything and they do everything like professionally. So they definitely helped me get where I'm at today. Just listening and being coachable really got me right here.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, you're a 6'2", but potentially a sub 4'40" guy. What is it about your size combined with that speed that allows you to just do things that others can do? I mean, it's just such a rare combination that, what is it about your process that has allowed you to just master your tool set?
You still see me? Oh. Well, first I did play wide receiver, so me playing wide receiver brings a lot to the table. Ball skills, knowing how receivers run their routes and how they coming out of breaks and things like that. So my IQ is really high, kind of. Well, I think my IQ is kind of high coming from wide receiver, so that helps me out a lot. And I didn't even, I really didn't see myself playing DB. So that's kind of more because I'm so open to learn. So that means I'm eager to just learn and soak up everything that I hear because I want to be one of the best. So that definitely helps me out a lot. And my body size, I didn't even expect to be this big. My family members I'm really almost the biggest person in my family. So it really just came out of the blue for everyone.
And I'd have to imagine too, being a slot receiver, if you're used to being able to go anywhere on the field, right? It's not just the boundary and everything else. That also
Right.
probably has to help the way you see the field. You're not just used to that isolation being on the boundary.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome,
it's
man.
definitely different though. It's definitely different.
Well, I mean, I can imagine that it's only going to serve you well. But between being open and having been able to play all over the place, it's really going to just continue to allow you to learn and grow. And I'm sure big things are coming. But before we continue to talk about any more football, let's give a quick shout out to the fact rather that you graduated. So congrats on getting your diploma.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So obviously, I'm sure it's football first, football all the way. But do you have any other aspirations for one day when you're no longer an athlete on what you may want to do, or at least be interested in?
Oh yes, definitely. One of my big goals. I do want to partner up with like mental charities because being an athlete, mental health is definitely a big problem and definitely hinders a lot of athletes. And it's hard. It's a hard battle. It's a uphill fight, definitely. And I also wanted to do like nonprofit, partner with impoverished families and help families like that coming from little or nothing. Because I know what it feels like to be there, and I know what it feels like not to have no one or no help, or you just going day to day just living. They're definitely tough as well. So I definitely want to do those two things for sure.
That's awesome. And obviously, the platform that you're quickly growing into and are certainly going to have in just a couple months, man, you're going to be able to talk about whatever you want. And there's going to be a lot of people listening. So I'm sure as time goes on, you're only going to be able to reach more and more and more people. So that's awesome that, you have a positive message, positive, mindset in mind to help others.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I mean, to wrap this up, I just got a little thing called the gauntlet. I got to ask you a couple quick questions before I let you out of here. So, man, from the top, what's most important? Is it having the number one offense or the number one defense?
Number one defense. Defense win championships.
Still, even today? You sure?
Even even today, yes.
All right. Now, do you have a pregame ritual that you stick to?
Yeah. I just do like talk. I go to each goalpost. I pray on one end. I pray for safety for all players. On the other end, I pray for my family and everybody traveling to the game. And then I go in and get ready.
All right. Now, do you have a favorite football memory to date so far?
Definitely. West Kentucky game. It was a fade to the back of the end zone to one of the receivers. He thought he caught it, but I didn't rip it out the whole time. I thought I picked it off, but they didn't give it to me. But that's definitely one of my favorite plays.
Nice. Now, what's most important? Is it the players or is it the scheme?
It's actually a tough question because the players got to know how to know the scheme, but you got to know the scheme first. So I feel like it's the scheme.
All right. No, man, this is the most important one of them all because the adversity that you've overcome, everything to get to this point, the hard work, the dedication. What's the one best piece of advice that you would give right now to a young 17, 18-year-old student athlete that looks at you and says, hey, man, I want to get there one day?
Only thing I can say is really, really something that I use every day is I use my mother as motivation because my mother gets up every day and go to work, and she's going to get paid. She's going getting up early in the morning to go get paid. So why can't I get up and go? What's why? It's really just like why not? Or like, what's your determining factor? What's your drive, or what's giving you the purpose to get up and go do this? Because it got to be something. I don't really know too many people who just doing certain things just to be doing it. So it's got to be a reason. So I always remember what's your why. You remember your reason why.
There you have it. Well, man, I'm so excited for you to see you get out there in the Senior Bowl. And again, hopefully the combine happens and everything else, because I think you're about to put on a show. I think a lot of people are going to know your name real soon. So I'm privileged to have the chance to talk to you now before it is a battle to get on your radar. So, man, best wishes. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for everything. Thank you. Thank you for having me.